Is your Agile team, Scrum team using the Sprint Burndown Chart effectively? Most teams are not. I started using the Sprint Burndown Chart correctly 1 year into my first Scrum Master job. In this video, I will show you 5 Sprint Burndown charts that I see often. How to use the data, how to analyze the data, how to use the data to make good decisions, to improve in future sprints. This is what we'll talk about in this video. But first, what is a Sprint Burndown Chart? In a nutshell, it shows the amount of work that has been completed in the sprint and the total remaining work. I've worked with many Scrum teams throughout the years, and most Scrum teams use the Sprint Burndown Chart in their daily scrums. It's typically like that. 3 days, 4 days in the daily scrum, they start going into a panic because work is not getting completed. So someone, maybe the Scrum Master or someone else in the team, shows the Sprint Burndown Chart and start asking questions. What's going on here? Why are we not completing things? Why is the chart not going down? Why is it staying up or even going higher? Because work is being added. Teams have these types of conversations in the daily scrum, often near the end of a sprint. Very important conversations which I believe every team should be having in every daily scrums. We need to talk about the work that has been completed and remaining to ensure that we are meeting our sprint goal. This needs to happen every single day. But the sprint retrospective, talking about the Sprint Burndown Chart in the sprint retrospective, I feel is underrated. I don't see many teams doing that. For me, that's extremely powerful. Showing the Sprint Burndown Chart in the sprint retrospective and using this data with other data in order to know what happened in the sprint and find ways to improve in future sprints. Obviously, the Sprint Burndown Chart doesn't give a full picture. It's a part of a picture, a section of a picture. And then you can use all the other data. Velocity of a team, commitment versus plan, did the team meet the sprint goal, what was released in the sprint. You use all this data in order to make a valid decision or find ways to improve in future sprints. What you're seeing on the screen right now is what a good sprint burndown should look like. The blue line is the planned burndown. This is the best case scenario. A team with a perfect workflow moves slowly, task, user stories, one after the other. They try to get at least 1 day of work done every single day. When something is blocking the team, they have an impediment, something is slowing the team down, they don't pick new work. Everyone stops what they are doing to help the person get unstuck. People are not working in isolation. People are not working in silos. No, we are a single team with a single goal, and we are all working towards achieving this goal. But unfortunately, that's rarely the case. Just look at your recent Sprint Burndown charts. Do they look similar? Is all the total work being completed in the sprint? Do we gradually, every single day, see work being completed? I don't see it often. And it makes sense. Software development is complex. Software development with a team of 10 people, even more complex software development in an organization that might not be truly agile, even more complex. All these things together make software development, what we are trying to do with the team, extremely complex. And it makes sense that sometimes we are unable to predict what will happen in the sprint. When doing the sprint planning, we take too much or too little. The estimation is off. The user stories were not truly ready. We talk about that later on in the video. But what I want to show you right now, 4 common Sprint Burndown charts that I see often that might look similar to your Sprint Burndown charts. How to use the data, how to analyze the data, and how to use the data to improve in future sprints. Starting with the first one that you're seeing on the screen right now. You see there's a flat line. Let's say it's a sprint of 2 weeks. The first 7 days, nothing happens. No work is being completed. Maybe people are working, but nothing is being truly completed. Nothing is meeting the definition of done. And when something happens, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10, work starts to get completed. And day 9 and day 10 crashes down. Everything is completed together and the team is able indeed to meet their sprint's commitments. But 90% of the work is completed in the 2 last days of a sprint. Do you think that is a good Sprint Burndown chart? I don't think so. Work needs to be gradually completed during the sprint. This simply reduces the risk. Just imagine a flat line for 8 days and then everything crashes down. If something happens, there's a high chance that we won't be able to meet our sprint commitments because there's simply 2 days left. And in the last 2 days, things are crashing down. There's something clearly wrong here. In the sprint retrospective, show the data. You're not here to tell the team what to do as a Scrum Master. You're here to help the team find ways to improve. So ask the team, assuming that you work in an environment where you have a trust of the team, they are psychologically safe, they will tell you what happened in the sprint. Did the work not meet the definition of ready when we picked the work in the sprint planning? Were there change in priorities during the sprint? Were we working on other things that were not present in the sprint backlog? Were there blockers, impediments, things slowing us down? Were we waiting for dependencies? Did we have environment issues? It seems that something was preventing us from completing work and we were picking new work every time we encountered this blocker. Instead of focusing on resolving the problem, we were simply picking up new work. And in the last 2 days of the sprint, the problem was resolved and everything was done. Don't get me wrong, it's a win for the team. Everything was done, but we need to find ways to improve. We need to find ways to reduce the risk, gradually get work done. So ask the team. I can't tell you what to do because I don't know your current environment, your current context, but the team knows, and depending on what the team answers, you will be able to guide them into the right direction. The second sprint burndown chart image. Here, the team was not able to complete the work of a sprint. You can see first day, second day of a sprint, work is being done. A few flat lines, maybe 3 days on the third day and the fourth day, but then fifth day, work is getting done. Things are gradually getting done compared to the previous image that I showed you. Things are gradually getting done, but at some point, the sprint ends and there's a lot of work that remains in the sprint. Again, you show this chart, the burndown chart in the sprint retrospective, and you ask questions. I feel like, based on what I just saw, that the team was over committing. I might be wrong, so ask questions. What happened in the sprint? Did we take too much work? How much work did we take compared to our velocity? Maybe the team is used to doing 100 points per sprint and we took 150. Obviously, we won't be able to complete everything in the sprint. Maybe something unexpected happened in the sprint, an environment issue. Someone went on an unplanned leave, a sick leave. It happens. That's okay. But we need to find an explanation. What happened? What prevented us from meeting our sprint commitments? And we were off by around 50%. 50% of what we said we would do. We couldn't even complete. What happened? Use all this data in order to improve in future sprints. Image number 3, sprint burndown. Number 3. What do you think about this image? First day of a sprint, nothing, flat line. Then the work starts being completed. Second day, flat line. Third, fourth day, then the work gradually starts being completed. Very healthy. And all the work is completed in the sprint by the team prior to the end of the sprint. Then we start picking up new work. That's why the line starts going up. That's new work being added. New work that the team was unable to complete, but at least they completed what they said they would do in the sprint. When they started picking new work, and this new work we were not able to complete. Again, you show this information in the sprint retrospective, and the first question I would ask, is it true that we completed all the work and then we took additional work? We need to confirm that first. Maybe the team didn't complete all the work and they were stuck, and then they started putting things from the backlog into the sprint backlog. That's not a good approach. Ask this question first. Second, are we working in isolation or are we working as a team? When I've finished my work, am I asking people if they need help or am I picking up new work? Maybe some team members completed what they said they would do in the sprint. They started picking work from the product backlog, and some team members were not able to complete what they said they would do in the sprint. So basically, we took in additional work when the work that we committed on was not even completed. We should be working as a team. Maybe we need to break down the user stories even further. When we finished all the work in the sprint, why didn't we take work that we believed could be completed in the sprint? We started to take work that was not completed. Maybe we need to break down the user stories even further. So many questions, but it depends on the context and the answers you get from the team. You're not here to tell the team what to do. You're here to facilitate this discussion so that we find improvement. And once we find the improvement, start experimenting with new ways. Maybe you can launch an experiment in the next sprint. Once I finish my work, I will ask the team, does someone need help finishing their work prior to me taking a new item in the sprint backlog to work on? This will reduce work in progress and ensure that we complete more things in the sprint. The next sprint burn down that you're seeing on the screen, it's a sort of wave. New work being added on day 3, when work being completed, work being added again, work being completed, goes on, and obviously we are unable to complete our sprint commitments, what we said we would do in the sprint planning. Show the team the sprint burn down and ask questions. Why were we not able to complete our total commitments for what we said we would do in the sprint planning? Why are we picking up new work? It seems when you look at the sprint backlog, it's obvious we are picking up new work in the middle of a sprint. Are we asking the right questions? Maybe the product owner is pushing work in the middle of a sprint. Are we asking the product owner, are you sure that's a priority? Can this wait for the next sprint? And if it can't wait for the next sprint, what can be removed from the sprint to add this new piece of work? We can't just add things to a sprint. We need to remove other stuff also, because our priority for a sprint is meeting our sprint goal. If anything is preventing us from meeting our sprint goal, we have a right to say, no, we will not be picking this new piece of work because it's affecting our ability to complete our sprint goal. Sprint goal, that's the most important. And it's clear with the sprint burn down that the team is picking up new additional work when ignoring what they said they would do in the sprint. The best practice here, at any point in the sprint, when there's new work coming into a sprint, ask the question, can this wait for the next sprint? If it can't wait for the next sprint, how does it fit compared to the other items in terms of priority? And once we reshuffle the priority, we kick out the low priority items because we picked up additional work and we need to remove something else so that the total amount of work that we committed on can get completed, and especially the sprint goal can get completed. If you want more tips, insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.